Welcome back to Classic Car Cave. As I said, I'm going to do a series of the 5 cars that I have that I've collected and repaired and restored over the last 10, 12 years, whatever it is. And I'm going to start with the E-Type. So this is a 1966 E-Type OTS, or open two-seater Roadster. It's the 4.2. So this is a later car. The Series 1 4.2 started between 1964 and finished in 1967, and then they went on to the Series 2 car. There is an unofficial Series 1.5 or 1 1/4, which is not accurate, but that's what they called them, where they were part Series 1 and part Series 2. So the original cars from 1961 were a 3.8 litre engine up to 64, and then they went on to the 4.2. Now this engine is supposed to be around about, I don't know, 270, I don't know exactly the right figures, 260 horsepower, something like that. But strangely enough, the torque on this is much greater. The torque, Newton meters of torque, is much greater than the actual horsepower. In this car, even in third gear, you can almost pull away. It's unbelievable. The low down torque on these engines, and these are even torquier, I believe, than the 3.8s, but because they were the earliest cars, the 3.8s are the kind of ones that people want to go for because of the price and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you around the car and show you some of the things that I've done, and I'll try and add some pictures in of what it looked like and how it's progressed over the period of time that I've had it. So I hope you enjoy the video. It'll only be 10 minutes long, because that's like the maximum people can kind of tolerate with videos these days. So about 10 minutes, and I'll try and show you everything that we've done. So one of the things that distinguishes the Series 1 to the Series 2 and 3 cars is the enclosed headlights. And as you can imagine, these headlights are garbage. You can put halogen lights in them, and they do make them better, but you can imagine putting glass over the light just kind of destroys the reflection of the light, so they're not really that good, but they look great and they look sexy, I have to say. You can even get a kit in Germany that goes on the Series 2 cars that chromes them in like that, because they're open on the Series 2. The other thing is the side lights and the indicator lights are above the bumpers, and also the way the bumper goes and the bumper mouth, where you have this motif bar. Now you see on this car I have this number plate down here. In Britain, or some places, they have it on a plastic thing on the front of the bonnet, but it's actually illegal really to use that. There are people who do it, and you can kind of get away with it, but it's supposed to be a full number plate like that. But what's clever about this is they've made it onto a system, so when you lift the bonnet, this thing goes underneath, but it depends on how far down it is. So that's one of the things. Also on the Series 1 cars, the same with the rear lights. The rear lights are above, and one of the big things with these is you can see here how well that they fit. So I had to shape the body to fit that, and the same with the rubber. You can see how the rubber is tight all the way around. Yeah, it's a nice tight fit all the way around. In fact, I don't know why that's loose, because it was good before. Anyway, maybe because it's been lying for a year, but you can see it's a nice tight fit all the way around, and it shows that's a good quality restoration on it. As far as taking them out and enjoying them, the biggest problem with the Roadster is they're lovely with the top down, they're very cramped with the top up, but you can't put anything in them. The boot is very, very tiny in these cars. You know, really most of it has to sit behind the drivers in this little piece here. So I'll show you. Here is where the boot opens up, so I'll show you the rear boot, and then I'll show you inside the engine. So there's the tonneau cover that goes over the top of the soft top, and yeah, but it's a nice car. It drives well. I drove it to England and back from Austria. We've done about 10,000 kilometers in it in about 7 years. So yeah, so I'll show you in the bonnet, in the hood. So these are the clips that come out, and basically did everything on this car apart from the paint. The paint was done by a local company who don't really want to do classic cars. They prefer to do insurance work. So and the interior was from a company called John Skinner in the UK, who's now doing my interior for the XK, and that's why I'm using them, because I've used them before and the kit was perfect. Everything fitted like a glove. So, but the car is in a bit of a mess and it's dirty. Unfortunately, the detailer can't do it for at least 10 days. So we'll have to drive it the way it is, and you'll see that when I open the hood. But as I said, we did all of it ourselves. So as you see in here, so it's got a safety catch there, and you can see how dusty that engine is. Those cam covers were never polished like that in the factory cars, and you can see obviously that exhaust manifold is from Classic Fabs. So originally they were 2 manifolds of 3 down to 1, and this is obviously 6 separate pipes down to a collector on two pipes, and then it comes to the back, which I'll show you in a minute. You can see that that's a alloy radiator in there. It's dusty as it is. I apologise for the condition, but it has sat for the last 6 months. And you can see also there's a alloy header tank as well. So what it needs, it just needs a really good dust off. I'll get the air compressor and clean it all out. But this was a nut and bolt complete restoration. Everything was done on it. And if it wasn't reusable or wasn't restorable, then I had to buy it new. So yeah, but it sits pretty well. And as you can see on the back here with the exhaust, it's a twin exhaust system. And I don't know if you can see it underneath. You can see the IRS was completely rebuilt because it was in a shocking state. And as I said, if you want to look at some of the old videos, it's the Jaguar E-Type 4 years in 4 minutes will show you everything, just how bad and how poor the condition was when I got the car. What I'm basically trying to do with these videos is just show, you know, what can be done. You can buy a basket case, and with enough time, obviously you need the money to put into them as well, but some patience and learn some skills, you can put these things back on the road. They're not out of people's reach as you might think. One word of advice I would say is, if you're very interested in an E-Type and you don't want to pay out 6 figures for a Series 1 or a Series 3 even, the Series 2 cars are good value for money, because by the time the Series 2 came out, they got it right. Everything was just about right with them, and they're very much overlooked, the Series 2 cars, I think. They're very much undervalued. Okay, the parts cost the same amount of money, so you could say, well, it's better to put that into a Series 1, but it's buying one in the first place. So if you really like the E-Types, and you go for something like a 2+2, which is automatic, the price is dramatically dropped. And you can put it back into a manual or change it around, whatever, take the Zenith carbs and put SUs on it. So yeah, there's a lot you can do with these cars. It's like anything else. If you've got real passion I've wanted one of these cars since I was about 8 years old, 9 years old when I first saw them. And I lived in London, and I saw a couple running around, and they just looked like spaceships because they were so beautifully designed, and they're just gorgeous cars. And sitting in that car looking over the bonnet is just a dream. It's a dream come true. So I'll end up on this one, and hopefully you'll join me for the next one, which will probably be the XK 150. And I also have a friend in America who has just finished his XK 150 after 24 years, and I'll give you some information on that, and he's given me permission to show you some photographs before and after, and I'll add that in that XK video along with my own. So as usual, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and enjoy motoring. Take care.